The biggest update since launch of the First Descendant is just around the corner. Season 2 is dropping on December 5th. And with that, we're going to get Ultimate Sharen, 2 new Descendants, a K9, Ultimate Weapons, and so much more. And if you're like me, you hope to spend more time enjoying the content than being stuck in the grind. And that's why today I deliver you the all-new complete player's guide to get ready for Season 2. Let's do this.
Makes it exciting!
Season 2 is just around the corner. It releases on December 5th. That's a Thursday. So 1 week from Thanksgiving is the day we get to jump in. 7 days is not much time, especially if you think about all the things you need to be ready. My goal here is not to stress you out. On the contrary, my goal is to make getting ready for Season 2 easy. I'm talking paint by colors. We're going to be thorough on this one, so let's jump right into the guide I have for you. And as usual, this will be available for download using the link below. So we're going to get Ultimate Sharen, Keelan, a new male descendant, a K9 companion, Volsha, the ultimate beam rifle, and Hammer and Anvil, the ultimate shotgun. As far as we know, this is all possible to start farming on December 5th. Keelan and the K9, you'll have to go into the new dungeon to get. Ultimate Sharen, well, we don't know exactly, and I don't want to speculate. And then as far as the weapons go, at least one of those is going to be on the season pass for free, maybe both of them. This guide isn't just about being ready for Ultimate Sharen. If you follow these steps, you'll be ready for the first big chunk of Season 2. So we're going to get 3 new Descendants plus the companion in Season 2. But one of them isn't going to be released until January. So it's only the companion, Keelan, and Ultimate Sharen that you need to be ready for on December 5th. And with the last big season update that they dropped, the one where Ultimate Freyna was released, that one went so smooth for me because I followed this guide to be ready for her. All I had to do was focus on getting her parts. And then once she was crafted, I didn't have to worry about catalysts, I didn't have to worry about gold or farming her weapons or mods because I was just ready to go. And I hope to get you as close to that place as possible for Season 2. So you can just enjoy playing the new content, focus on farming the new Descendants, and then from there building up your stockpile and not be stressed out about running out of your basic resources like gold and catalysts, etc. What's not accounted for here particularly are all the ultimate weapon reworks and the catalysts that are going to go into those and the gold that's going to go into those. The best I could do here to help you be prepared for those is to give you some checklists and recommendations on where your reserves should be to be ready for those ultimate weapons that drop on December 5th, and then from that point, any materials that you gather going forward will build and maintain your supplies for the other ultimate weapons and Descendant that will follow. All right, so we're talking catalysts, resource reserves for future catalysts. We're talking energy reactors, and then the resources you need for reserves. I do have some details at the very bottom on what you need for Ultimate Sharen's kit. We don't know exactly how Ultimate Sharen is going to pan out after her kit realignment or possible rework. So I've kept this as high level as possible so you don't risk wasting too much time farming for things you may not possibly use or need. None of this is too focused on Sharen, so if you're not super excited about her, all of these resources will be great for any Descendant you would like to apply them to. Catalysts, arguably the most valuable resource in the game next to gold. Spending catalysts never really stops, especially if you're into builds and build diversity. Even if you have your Ultimate Sharen at a lovely place, she's strong, she's out there kicking butt, you might see another build that you would like to try, and that's going to require some reconfigurations and possibly more catalysts, and then possibly a weapon. So the first checklist is accounting for all the catalysts you need for all the new items being introduced to the game on December 5th specifically. So you're going to need 8 catalysts for Ultimate Sharen. We have 12 slots, but we usually don't catalyze the Transcendent slot, and Ultimate Descendants usually come with 3 slots already pre-configured. So that's why it's only 8 for Ultimate Sharen. For one build, of course. If you continue to make additional builds, you're gonna need more. And then for Keelan, because he's not an Ultimate, he's going to require 9. Non-ultimates will come with 2 assigned slots. The reason why it's arranged between 33 and 42 catalysts is because the companion is going to have upgrades and configurations, but we don't know how much in the beginning or if catalysts are going to be a thing at all. So the high range here accounts for 9 catalysts being rolled into the companion. If you're like me and like to be over prepared, then you're going to include 9 for the K9, and if he ends up being less, then you're even better prepared. And then for Volsha and Hammer and Anvil ultimate weapons, we have 10 total slots for weapons, but 2 slots on ultimates are already pre-configured. So 16 in total to account for both of the ultimates. And that will bring you to a total of 42 catalysts with the companion. So those catalysts are all going to be crafted. Then you're going to need your reserves. I recommend you always have a catalyst cooking. If you have blueprints, have a catalyst under research. It takes 7.5 hours to research a catalyst, so you really want to think ahead on those. With energy reactors, you don't want to overcraft those because you don't need as many as you do on catalysts. But catalysts, you need a ton of those, man. And I still run out of catalysts. It's crazy. And I don't even have builds for all of my descendants yet. This is what I recommend: having 15 catalyst blueprints in your inventory. To match that, you're going to have 400 murky energy residues, 125 mixed energy residues, 350 macromolecule biogels, 260 advanced neural circuits. The blueprints aside, each one of these items will only take 20 minutes to hit those numbers. I created a whole guide called the Perfect 20 that shows you how to get this stockpile in 20 minutes per activity. The only one that's going to take longer is the advanced neural circuits. I doubled it. That way you have enough supplies for 15 catalyst blueprints, but still follow the Perfect 20 guide. This is my recommendation, and that's because I get sick of constantly farming for catalyst materials. So hopefully my bulk farming guides help you along the way, and I'll make sure I have the Perfect 20 guide linked down below as well. Let's talk about energy reactors. I recommend having 4 to 5 energy reactors ready for season 2 when it goes live. So you're gonna need 1 for Ultimate Sharen, 1 for Keelan, possibly 1 for the K9 Companion. You're gonna need 1 for the Volsha Ultimate Weapon, and then 1 for the Hammer and Anvil Ultimate Weapon. That's 5 total. If you don't want to prepare for the K9 Companion, it's 4. As far as energy activator blueprints on reserve, you don't really need to over prepare here. So 3 energy activator blueprints is a really good place to be, at least. Most of you probably have more, but as far as the miscellaneous resources you need to craft those, I recommend 165 low carbon activators, 165 heat plasma batteries, 75 conductive metallic foils, and 216 polyatomic ion particles. I have guides on where to go to get that. So the devs made getting gold easier than it was in the past. So this number might look big, but it's really not. So outside of the gold that it's gonna take to craft all of those key elements, I recommend having 100 million in gold in stock when season 2 goes live, approximately. That's a healthy number, and if you don't think you can spend 100 million in gold, I'll tell you what, you can. I landed on 20 million, Kuiper. It just varies depending on where you're at with your modules, but the devs keep introducing new modules, and Transcendent modules especially are quite expensive. And as I understand it, we're gonna get our Transcendent modules up front with the Descendants this season. And then I threw in 18 code breakers. This shouldn't be too difficult to acquire because you can get these from the ETA 0 vendor, or you can farm them in the open world. And of course, the 30th anniversary event where you can get bulk resources every week. As far as some administrative things and workbench stuff, I recommend you open up 2 roster slots. So 1 for Keelan and 1 for Sharen. If you already have the normie Sharen and you're just gonna replace her with your ultimate, then that's gonna save you a slot. However, they are introducing another Descendant in early January, so either way, you're gonna need at least 2 slots for season 2. And then I recommend 2 presets for December 5th, 1 for Sharen, and then you're gonna need a preset slot for Keelan as well. And then when they introduce the other Descendant in January, you'll need another one for her. All right, I recommend 1000 fine control access. It sounds like a lot, but it's kind of not, because it depends on your RNG on how fast you spend that. These are those gold things you use to readjust your weapons and get the stats you're looking for. And then I recommend 4,000 ion accelerators and 400 precise ion accelerators. These you need to configure your reactors or add weapons to your reactors. Now, I know the devs are doing some reactor system adjustments in season 2. I don't know exactly when, but this is not an overinvestment. This would account for adding 2 total weapons to 2 reactors. So 1 configuration for each reactor, so 1 for Sharen and 1 for Keelan. Speaking of Sharen, let's talk about her weapons. This is based on her current kit, but if I know the devs, they're gonna try to preserve the capabilities that she has now. So even though she's getting her rework, she should still be able to play as tactically as she does now. So I imagine the Afterglow Sword Sniper, the Zestra's hand cannon, the Perforator hand cannon, and then the Thunder Cage are all going to be useful in her future. The reason why I speculate that to be the case is because people have invested in Sharen. So when they rework the Ultimate Sharen, that's also going to apply to the regular Sharen. And they don't want to break people's builds completely. So they're going to try to enhance her kit based on what she already does. So I think. Anyways, the Afterglow Sword is an absolute beast with her. It's one of my favorites. The Zestra's is great for Void Boss fights. You'll see that being used against Gluttony, for example. And the Perforator is great for those 400% dungeons. The Thunder Cage is just a great mobbing weapon to have with her. All right, let's talk about her modules. She's got 4 now, and they're possibly going to be reworked. And I'm sure there will be more that will fit with just her ultimate descendant. So right now we have Void Domination. That's the one that enhances her number 4 or her throwing swords. And then she's got Overcharged Edge. That's the one that gives her more damage when in the ambush state. And it also heals your shields and consumes your shields. And then Battle Suit Melting Rounds. That decreases enemy defense and resistance to electricity. That's used for Void boss fights mostly. And then Release Cutting Force is a good mobbing build. It changes her number 1, so that's more like a giant ninja star. So real quick, I just want to make sure you're aware of the 30th anniversary event that Nexon's putting on, because it's got XP farm tokens, gold tokens, Kuiper tokens, and weapon XP farm tokens. And now is a great time to be using those. When you do use those, make sure you run external components that have the XP or gold drop rate modifiers on them. That'll make your XP tokens way more efficient. And if you need to do a lot of work on the gold farm side of things, I did come up with this How to Be a 100 Millionaire gold guide. That one will get you in good shape. Love to hear your thoughts on this guide, and or if you have any recommendations for the community, be a good neighbor. Drop those comments down below. Catch you on the next one. Thank you for hanging out with me. My name is Tuxedo Bandido. That's Tito Bandido.
One and only.
And this was another episode of The First Descendant. If you found this video helpful, subscribe, like, and turn on notifications to ensure you don't miss out on the fantastic experiences waiting for you in The First Descendant. And if you like videos like this, check out the one I have recommended for you right here. If you have anything you want to see covered, be sure to let me know in the comments below. And thank you to all the channel members and donors who make everything possible. Tux Nation wouldn't be without you.
When you buy or download anything for The First Descendant, be sure to use Tux's creator code to support the channel. Easy peasy.
Follow me.